Hey everybody, welcome to Little Garden on the Prairies. So in today's video, we're going to talk about planting up something a little fun. If you have kids or grandkids and are just looking for something to add to your garden that'll be fun for kids to enjoy throughout the summer and at harvest time, then I highly recommend trying some ground cherries. These are something that I have been planting the last few years with my grandson. He's been gardening with me ever since he was old enough to walk. And at the end of the season, he gets to come and find these cute little berries. So they kind of have this papery husk that wraps around the berry. And when it ripens, it kind of dries and you open it up and inside is this juicy little berry that is so tasty. So it's kind of a fun thing that I love to do with my grandson every year. And so today we're just going to plant up a few of these, get them going indoors. They should be started about 6 to 8 weeks before your last frost date. So if you're doing some indoor seed starting, you're, setting up your plants indoors, then why not just grab some of these ground cherry seeds and plant up a couple for your garden and for your kids. So I like to just use the solo cup to start a lot of my seedlings. I can plant them directly in here and they will just grow in here their whole entire life indoors until they're ready to plant outside. You can use a smaller seed starting tray to kind of get them germinated, but then you have to transplant them into something bigger while they grow. So if you have the space to use just like a 3 or 4 inch container like the solo cup, or maybe some old nursery pots that you want to reuse, these work great as well. So what I've done here is, this is kind of a method I use when I'm just using a 1 cup method where I don't have to transplant anything. So I fill it up about 3/4 of the way with some potting soil. So this is some premium vegetable herbal mix. It's got the fertilizer in it. It's a little bit heavier, so it's got something for those roots to feed off when they start growing and developing, down into your cup. So I always top it off with the seed starting mix, 2 or 3 inches of this, which is just a lot lighter. It's easier, obviously, for seeds to germinate in. That's why it's called the seed starting mix. So this is basically just some peat moss and vermiculite. Doesn't have any nutrients or fertilizer in it. So it's a good way to always, start your seeds. So that's kind of the way I always set up these cups. 3/4 potting soil, and then, another 1/4 of it is the seed starting mix. So as I said, they recommend to start indoors about 6 to 8 weeks before your last frost date. Now these are normally grown for using in preserves or pies, eating fresh in salads. They've never made it to my house because me and my grandson usually just eat them fresh right off the vine. I've heard that these can be quite prolific if you have them, growing in your garden. They can spread quite a bit. I don't ever have a problem with anything prolific in my garden other than weeds and quackgrass. So I don't usually worry about it, and they probably don't survive my cold zone 3 climate. But what I do or recommend if you are worried about them, spreading into your garden, is just plant them up in a container, which is what I do every year. I find, a 5-gallon grow bag or a pot. I put one of the plants into it and set it in my garden and just, look after it all summer. And it grows quite well in a pot, contains, doesn't spread. And then, it's ready for harvest. Usually about the end of August is when, we get to enjoy these. So I always just start off by putting 2 or 3 seeds into my pot here just to make sure that we have germination. These are fresh seeds that I just purchased this year, so I'm pretty sure we should have success. You don't get a whole pile of them, but they're very, very tiny. I don't even think you can see them because they're very light colored. So I have 4 here. I'm just going to pop them onto the surface of my cup here. I'm not going to worry about what says here for seed depth, just 1/4 of an inch. So I just kind of press them down in there and just kind of work the the seed starting mix over top of it. So you don't have to worry about, burying them too deep. And it says germination about 10 to 21 days. So, it's a little bit longer than some things. I'm going to put these down here under my grow lights. I got some peppers started, some onions started. Just squeeze them in wherever I can fit them. I like to just spritz the top to get them going. Get that soil nice and moist. Get it soaked in there really good. And then I usually top up all of my transplants or my seed starting with a little bit of vermiculite on the top. That just kind of helps hold in that moisture. It also kind of prevents that damping off where you get that green moss kind of bacteria growing on your surface of your seedlings. It can sometimes kill your little seedlings, so I like to use the vermiculite on the top. I usually have everything in one of these containers here. This is like a 3-inch deep tray, which works really good for solo cups and bigger pots because they don't fall over. And then I just add, 2 or 3 inches of water in the bottom, let it wick it up and get this cup, nice and moist for the seeds to germinate in. Put them under the grow lights till they start germinating. Once we get into, March, April, I can move these to a sunny window, but I recommend that if you have grow lights to start them under there to get the good germination and not have those kind of leggy seedlings. So if you are not part of the Gardeners Growing Together community, I highly recommend that you check out the link below in my description box. Join in our community. We are talking about gardening every day. We're sharing our seed starting tips right now. We're talking about what we're growing. We got people all over the world in this group. So everybody's got, different stories, different techniques, different things to share. So if you want to be part of an interactive community where you can ask questions, share knowledge, and, feel like you're in a safe space to talk about everything gardening, then be sure to check out the link below. So I hope you will join our interactive community at the link below. And if you have children or grandchildren, or maybe yourself just want to grow something that's really fun in the garden, then I highly recommend trying some ground cherries. Get them going and get them ready for your outdoor gardening season. Thank you for watching. See you on the next video.